It is currently 5 p.m. The entity is sounding helicopter activity at the moment that I begin packing up to get off of work. The entity also amplifying helicopter activity at 4:11 p.m. specifically. Rushing that. This is activity creation. This is P.O.C. Light activity, amplified helicopter activity. Malice and impunity. This is P.O.C. All right, in plain view. Oopsie. And that's amplification in the office under the light source. And I want to show you the maintenance of the light source at the same time. It's currently 5:02 p.m. Crossing path coming into the office is activity creation, relevant positioning. And this is the light source that's directly over my head. This is crossing path again. Simultaneity of presence entering into the office while the entity flies over in relevant position, group stalking together in the workspace. Again, this is the same third-party group stalkers, maintenance in the path, group stalking at the dumpster, maintaining presence surrounding. This is a demon, and this is also terrorism in the workplace. Light activity while walking. Relevant positioning while walking. Crossing path, demons pacing on Alvarado. Engineer light moves across the black gate. This is the demonic activity in terrorism, which speaker companies and top speaker are going to pay for, and they're all going to federal prison. Okay, everybody that lives here and works here. The entity is engaging in what is the maintenance of this light source, while at the same time, I'm going to show you where the light source is on this day. It is currently 5:03 p.m. and the entity is maintaining this light source while you see demons, such as those identifying themselves as employees. They are actually group stalkers in a workplace, engaged in workplace terrorism in concert with the LAPD, and this is demonic activity that's occurring in the workplace with impunity. That's what's being exhibited, while they're also engaged in federal stalking on the venue of the internet, and their demon possession and their criminal system that they are engaging in concert with the state is evidenced in the specific environment. And I will remind you about that specific environment where I am on this same day in an entirely different region, and the entity is maintaining a light source. I believe it's 5:12 p.m. if I recollect correctly. Let me open up my This is a full day of documentation, never going anywhere near Los Angeles. The sun is never going to be over Alvarado Gardens, okay? So I'm capturing video. The entity is maintaining the light source, flying directly over 4:15. It's also, this is on 4:15 p.m. I'm still at the Ovid Family Community Library. This is the light source directly over my head. This is group stalking while I'm at 215 East C Street. And this is captured at 4:45 p.m. The entity is maintaining this light source. This is the fake sun, first of all. Where I'm at that, I'm trying to see in the sun. I'm maintaining presence at the same library at 5:45 p.m. This is 215 East C Street. It's 5:04 p.m. right now. The entity's light source is already documented, remaining present in alignment with my apartment window. I work feet away from the office where the entity is engaging in it. And let me be clear, this is a demon. This is a third-party group stalker affiliated with what is speaker companies walking into the office to engage in what is relevant positioning, a psychopath that's targeting you and coming in relevant position to engage in that criminal conduct in concert with the entity that flies over by helicopter, while another third party that's, again, affiliated with the same company, maintaining presence in the path while the entity is flying over the property in the specific environment, and they are maintaining the specific environment while they engage in that surrounding conduct and in concert with the people. They're pacing on Alvarado, engineer lights moving across that black gate. They're all surrounding, and they're all doing this. Again, this is what the demonic entity engages in while you document, while you expose them. This is why she's going to federal prison. He's going to federal prison. The people of the state, Yolanda Poon, everybody engaged in federal stalking on the venue of the internet. This is crossing path in plain sight, light activity while they're driving up and down Alvarado, still group stalking, okay? And a psychopath while doing so and wanting to appear as though they're concentrated on hauling something. It's the demonic pattern of conduct, and under a light source, creating light activity under what is not the sun that's over the Ovid Family Community Library. Stalked by helicopter and has been repeatedly doing so. Doing the exact same thing you see going on here in LA. That's the Ontario Police Department. Flying right over me by helicopter. Flying right over my head in relevant position. Ovid Family Community Library. They're all going to federal prison, just like I stated. And again, at the Ovid Family Community Library, I'm present at what is 8 o'clock in the morning. And the entity is maintaining a light source over that library as I'm there again, 3:26 in the afternoon. And the entity is maintaining a light source while, again, personnel affiliated with the company walk in to engage in what is crossing a path in plain sight, openly engage in what is harassment and terrorism in the workplace, in concert with the entity that's flying over your office, all engaged in federal stalking together and openly posing that threat to your life as one. And I'm showing you what is the specific environment and the hallmark of stalking by helicopter, which is not a natural environment shared with my location here in LA. This is the P.O.C. and everybody's going to federal prison that you just saw. The entity is stalked by helicopter at the venue where inside there. That's engineer light appearing underneath That's impossible light activity. It's also impossible while you see the light source here in LA. And this is exactly where it remains while it's setting in alignment to my bedroom window. Okay, the demons are pacing on Alvarado, that's amplification, and they're all engaged in federal stalking in violation of Title 18, Section 2261A, subsections 1 and 2. And you saw what is, again, beyond any coincidence, the specific environment. This is not over the Ovid Family Community Library, nor is it going to be over the Ovid Family Community Library at 5:45. I've already captured that same exact time, by the way, while I'm inside of my bedroom, comparing it to, for example, the specific environment at the Fontana Lewis Library, where the entity is doing the exact same thing, literally at the same time as I walk out at 5:49 p.m. The Fontana Lewis Library, the light source remains over that venue at 8437 Sierra Avenue, which is not shared with the sky space over the Ovid Family Community Library over my head, and it's also not shared with what is right here remaining at the same location. I'm there at 10:42 in the morning. Okay, the light source is still here. Pay attention to the shadow of the palm tree that's right there on the roof. That's speaking to the immediacy of the light source. That's not over some library in Ontario at the same time. Neither is it creating that light activity while it's also appearing somewhere over someone in, for example, Texas, engaging in any sort of presence in any other state while I'm documenting the maintenance of that light source. But what you do see is the entity stalking in helicopter in a specific environment where the demon possessed are creating light activity, stalking in the path. That's surrounding conduct, that's lying in wait conduct, that's a demon. And they're doing this in the workplace while Todd Speaker's employees are openly engaging in that terrorism. Okay, coming in to make a copy, she's coming in to stalk, she's coming in to harass, and that's a psychopath, and that's a demon-possessed criminal and a sex offender that does so at the same time the entity intends to, as one, fly over by helicopter and surround in the path. And you know why? Because these demons are hostile, because they're all going to federal prison, and I'm documenting them. That's a psychopath that's threatening your life. That's a psychopath that's a violent sex offender. That's the entity that's stalking me by helicopter, by the way, in an entirely different region, which is not sharing the natural environment, engaging in the same exact group stalking that you saw occur right now in helicopter, under the light source in engineered light. Let's look at it again. Maria Solis Alvarez is going to federal prison. Carla Lopez is going to federal prison. All 59 units are filled with third parties who are all going to federal prison. That is the P.O.C. And this is workplace terrorism and harassment as an entity, a demon-possessed entity. At the venue where inside they are engaging in stalking. Again, this is impossible light activity that's appearing underneath a structure. That's impossible light under all circumstances. And then what you see here, the entity is engaging in what is a pattern of conduct, and they're doing so, again, because they are hostile. So the entity that's engaged in terrorism, as you see, in concert with the corrupt law enforcement agency, Dominic Choi is not only fired, he's permanently removed from law enforcement, and the terrorism that's occurring on his watch is that which is in conformity to a well-documented pattern of conduct. It's exactly what the demon-possessed and corrupt agency, the Ontario Police Department, are heavily documented engaging in for a term of years. And to date, the entity is still engaging in that P.O.C. The environment is shared with regard to the pattern. It is not shared with regard to any natural environment. And in that specific environment, the entity is engaging in terrorism using helicopters and doing it in concert with the people of the state. So again, I want to make sure that you understand what Todd Speaker and Speaker Companies and every employee of Speaker Companies is facing, and that is prolonged time in federal prison. Okay, comes into the office to communicate a threat, engaging the elements of monitoring, simultaneously maintaining presence in the path, engaging in the lying in wait conduct, anticipating my documenting it on video for purposes of maintaining obsessive presence in the path. These are demons. Engaging in terrorism in the workplace, and this is on the watch of what is Speaker Companies and third party. Engaging in what is malice. This property owner and this company are knowingly engaged in state surveillance. This is how the system works. It's beyond a coincidence that the workplace in Los Angeles is the same specific environment, not the natural environment, coexisting with what is heavily documented terrorism by helicopter by a corrupt law enforcement agency. They're going to federal prison, okay? The entity is engaged in the ongoing P.O.C., and everybody that lives at the crime scene engaged in 24-hour surveillance is also going to federal prison. And this is a threat to your life by those that call themselves a superior in the workplace. That's Maria Solis Alvarez, threatening my life on video, and she's going to federal prison for it. The minor children, I believe she has custody over through her marriage with some third party. I believe they're from Mexico, nonetheless. But you're talking about removing the ability to threaten those minor children and exercise influence over them as you see her engaging in terrorism with such impunity and malice and disregard for the lives and the rights of another person. This evidence is going to be used against her in the entire state of California. It is currently 5:11 p.m. This is P.O.C.